2024 has been a standout year for kitchen innovation, and we've tested some of the most exciting products that promise to change the way you cook and create at home. In this video, we're counting down the top 5 game-changing kitchen product reviews of the year. From cool creations to versatile powerhouses, these products deliver on performance and creativity. Which one takes the top spot? Stick around to find out as we dive into the ultimate product reviews for 2024. Starting with number 5, the Ninja Slushi.
This thing is very impressive. We haven't even used it yet. I'm already excited. I want to run through sort of the nomenclature or break down sort of the functions and the different parts that this has. There's a lot of science built into this. It actually has a low, I'm just looking at the sticker here, a low sugar alert or a high alcohol alert. 5 functions: milkshake, frozen juice. We're gonna do one of each one, and it also has a rinse function. And you'll see on this meter here as we get going, and we're gonna do a test with a non-sugared pop, a Coke Zero, and by theory, the way that we read that this works, it will not work because it doesn't have any sugar. So it won't work at all. All inputs must contain at least 4% sugar. So if you're looking for a non-sugared slushy drink, this product's not for you. And then they have alcohol guidelines. So if you're poolside, which I anticipate using this for, and you're doing frozen margaritas, which we are gonna do today, gotta go a little easy on the tequila, because if it's too high, it won't function well, and it'll give you the high alcohol alert. All right, trusty old tape measure. Wanna run through a few different things, height and weight before we get going. The weight, we're estimating, we don't know for sure, it's at least 20 pounds. So it's very heavy, bulky to carry around. Height, 17 inches. Depth, front to back, 17 inches. And it's pretty narrow. It's about 6 inches across the front. Price point, not cheap. Nothing is these days. $2.99 US. Enough talking for me. Let's get going and start making some slush. All right, first thing I'm gonna do right out of their book, they call it 1 ingredient soda slush. So we just grabbed regular old Pepsi. It's out of the fridge, so the cans are pre-chilled. It says 2 to 3 servings, takes roughly 15 minutes. So Jamie read that you pour your product in first, then you hit slush, and when it starts to actually, make the slush, it'll beep.
When it's ready.
Oh, when it's ready and it's done. So when it's ready and it's done, it's gonna beep. So we're gonna set a timer from basically the time that we pour the Pepsi in to the time that the slush is ready, so you have a general idea of how long that takes. So the pour spout here is certainly not huge. I could measure it. It's roughly about 2 inches square. All right, so we're gonna close that lid. We're gonna hit the power, and we're gonna hit slush. Kind of cool, I'm excited. All right, so another thing, I just read here on the side of the sticker, it says indoor use only. Because it's a plug-in device, obviously you can't use it out in the rain. I will have it out poolside when it's nice out. So Jamie's telling me here that each of these presets have a corresponding preset here for optimal, what do you call it? Temperature. So we'll see that this is at a number 3 here. So we'll see. All right, 16 and a half minutes. As you can see, looks pretty awesome. So pour slow. Try it. I know what's gonna happen. It's just gonna slam and hit me in the face. It tastes great. It's frozen Pepsi. All right, so now let's try the rinse function. So I put in tap water warm water to the max fill line according to the instructions, which is roughly 7 cups, 7.5 cups of water. It says that you turn it on, hit the rinse function, and pretty much as soon as it starts going, to pour out slowly. So, I mean, that's somewhat subjective. Okay, that wasn't slow. Just gonna say that's somewhat subjective. Okay, so the next test that we wanna replicate for you is to grab a couple Coke Zero. There is a minimum fill line of 16 ounces. A can of Coke or a can of pop is 12 ounces. So we'll put 2 cans in of Coke Zero, and according to the book, or according to the way we understand it, this status bar should be shooting down, showing that there's not enough sugar. We're trying to figure out, like, there has to be some sort of like alcohol sensor and some sort of sugar sensor built within this that can pretty much instantly measure it and tell you that your readings are off, I guess. Too much alcohol or too little sugar. So let me grab a couple cans of Coke Zero and try it out. All right, 2 cans Coke Zero. Gonna go power, slush. All right, so our experiment here, if you can hear that noise, I think it's, oh, it just cleared. There's some ice that's building up on the evaporator, as you can see. Hopefully Jamie's capturing that. So it has been 14 minutes with the Coke Zero. There's no descending, because what it says here, the low sugar alert, descending temperature control, and preset LEDs flash, unit beeps twice. How to fix, add sugar, so on and so forth. 14, almost 15 minutes of it turning. As you can see, there is no slush, and as we just did the Pepsi test was 16.5 minutes, but there are no beeps, no alerts, no nothing that's telling us that there's a sugar issue. So we're gonna actually stop that. There's a perfect word stop. You can see there is some frozen aspect on top of the evaporator, and it was causing an interesting noise until that cleared. So we're gonna run it through the rinse cycle, get rid of that. So I guess 2 things. We've shown that on, so they call it, well, of course, Americans soda, we call it pop. They said no sugar sodas will not work, but according to this, should be beeping and telling you there's a problem or whatever. It has not done that. All right, so 1.36 liter can of pineapple juice, still below the max fill line, which is 64 ounces. Help me out here, Jamie. We're going with frozen juice, and then this has to go to a 3, right? And the reason of that, we believe, is based on the sugar count, because Jamie was looking at the chart. Cranberry juice, apple juice is on a 1 or a 2, and this is on a 3. Again, that's a little confusing to us. Let's set a timer, Jamie, and see how long it takes for this to become frozen. 29.5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, looks awesome. Now just picture like a little bit of like Malibu coconut rum in with this pineapple juice. Oh, yeah. Wow, that's really, really good. Sweet, of course, it's pineapple juice. Tastes fantastic. Now, one thing we didn't mention, and I don't know if it would really ever come into play here. Once it's done, this will continue to spin for 12 hours after the slushie is made. It will continue to turn 12 hours, which is kind of crazy. All right, now we're doing the spiked slush. So we had 2 cups of the pre-made margarita mix with 1 cup of water. And then we've got, and I put it in the fridge so it's chilled, a 1/4 cup of tequila. So we're gonna pour this in slowly. Again, 2 cups of the margarita mix and 1 cup of water, and then a 1/4 cup of tequila. That, like I said, I pre-chilled. All right, then we're gonna go to our power button. We're gonna go to spiked slush. That's it, we'll set a timer and we'll see how long it takes. All right, 35 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that margarita mix color would be more of a greenish color, not kind of white, but anyway. A little bit of condensation on the sides here, as you can kind of see. Hence the reason for the condensate catcher, I guess. Let's try it out. Definitely good. Can certainly taste the tequila. Let's get Jamie all jammed up here.
I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm drunk enough to really enjoy doing it. Oh, look at that. 0.10. Time for a little drinking pool. Cheers, genitals.
All right, so let me try this again. What'd you think, Jamie? It's just okay for you? So again, I agree with Jamie.
Consistency is great.
Yes.
It's the recipe.
I wonder if it's that 1 cup of water they called for that dilutes that margarita mix. I'd almost want to do that again and try it without the 1 cup of water. Anyway, for my next experiment, or test. Again, this is right out of the book. It's a caramel frappe. So it was 2 cups of coffee that they say should be chilled or room temperature, so we did that. It was 1 cup of half and half, Jamie. 1/3 of a cup of caramel sauce, which we both had a sample of the caramel sauce, was fantastic. So we're gonna run this through a rinse cycle, get this going. All right, so we're just pouring our mixture in here. Jamie said according to the book, this one takes roughly 15 minutes. I don't know if I said the margarita mix was 35 minutes. All right, so now we're gonna fire that on and we're gonna go with frappe. We'll set a timer, we'll come back and see you. Full disclosure, Jamie and I are not coffee guys, either of us. But I also happen to be lactose. So my old buddy Jamie's gonna try this one begrudgingly because, again, not a coffee guy. I must say though, the consistency is fantastic, looks great. What did you say, Jamie? 18.5 minutes? So the book said 15, 18.5. It's pretty close. So the consistency is coming out a bit different. There might have been a bit of a chunk of ice that slowed us down in the first couple drips there, but I would suspect maybe because there's milk in it. I'm not sure. I mean, it looks good. You want a spoon, Jamie? So I'll let you know what Jamie, so if I can reenact, that was his face.
Consistency great. Tastes like coffee.
Tastes like iced coffee?
Yeah.
Which is the test.
Yes.
Caramel?
Slight caramel.
Slight caramel, okay. So the next one we're gonna do, we gotta clean out our machine obviously, is from the Ninja book, chocolate milkshake. And you'll see I have pre-mixed here, and I'm gonna run through the ingredients because there's quite a few. 2 cups whole milk, 1 cup heavy cream, teaspoon vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of chocolate syrup, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, which is all mixed up and ready to go. So let's give this a clean and get that in. So it's a little bit, that's probably the consistency of a milkshake that you'd want, right? Jamie, would you?
Yep.
Oh, wow. It's really good. So if you're a fan of the show, and we hope you are, you know that every single product that we review, we do a scoring matrix. We have 7 different categories, and one of them is a little bit of a point of contention between Jamie and I based on what he thought and what I thought, and I'm open to your suggestions on what you think as well. So the price point, as I mentioned at the top of the video, $299 US. So shipped like in-house here was like $524, I think it said. So we're only gonna give that a 7 out of 10. Pretty expensive luxury item. Much like the Ninja Creamies, we've done 3 different Creami videos. They make fantastic ice cream. Is it something you're gonna use every day in your house? Probably not, so that's why we're calling it like a luxury item. Functionality, I mean, it functioned fantastically. We didn't really have any issues other than the confusion of the Coke Zero where the low sugar meter wasn't pointing down to the bottom like it says on the sticker on the side here. So we gave the functionality a 9.5. Versatility, that was the big question mark. Jamie was in the 7s, I was in the 8s. Jamie was saying, well, like, you know, it's not really that versatile. It makes slushies, and I'm like, well, unless Ninja ever comes out with an air fryer that's also a deep fryer, that's also a ice cream maker, that's also a slushie, that's a dehydrator or whatever, I thought it was versatile. There's 5 different settings. You make milkshakes, you make slushies with alcohol, without alcohol, just put pop in, put juice in, whatever. So anyway, we fought it out and we came to an 8.2. Cleaning, we thought the cleaning was fantastic. All of these parts are dishwasher safe, which makes it very easy, but even just to rinse it out, very quick and easy to put it back together as well. So we gave that a 9. The size, it's quite tall and it's very heavy. If it's something that you're putting on a countertop and never moving it around, you have the space for it, it wouldn't be too bad. But the size, we gave it an 8.8, and that almost ties into the storage as well. So the size, we kind of talk about the reservoir size as well, and then the storage is on the lower side because of how heavy it is and how hard it is to move around, so we gave that a 7.7. The quality, well, Ninja, we've reviewed, what would you say, Jamie, like 40 to 50 Ninja products, not affiliated to Ninja. but their quality just seems to be getting better and better. Everything felt solid on this and was fantastic to use. We gave it a 9.1. So that gives an overall average kitchen score of 8.5.
At number 4, we've got the Ninja FROSTVAULT.
We bought 2 of them, 2 different colors, the 50 quart and the 30 quart. And what we want to try to do is to run a test to see how good these coolers are. We're going to fill them with beer and ice, and we're going to see how long the ice lasts. It is currently 36 degrees Celsius, 97, Jamie? 97 degrees Fahrenheit. We specifically picked this stretch. It's June 17th right now. We're in a real hot spell for the next 4 days. So my plan, I don't know how this is gonna go. The plan is gonna be fill this. Jamie went and bought, what'd you buy, Jamie? 50 pounds of ice. We bought 50 pounds of ice. We got a bunch of beer. We got Coors Light that have the cans that turn dark when they're cold. I don't know in the world where you are, if you've ever seen that, it's kind of neat. We're gonna fill these with beer and ice, and I'm literally gonna come out tomorrow morning, have a look, show you what it looks like, and then tomorrow night, and then the next day, and the next day, and we're gonna try to see, mimic a camping situation where you're, gone for 3-4 days and see if the ice lasts. So let's do a quick look at these. If you've never seen these before, I think they're trying to rival Yeti coolers, to be honest. We're gonna talk about the price point later, not cheap, much like Yeti coolers. So at the bottom, this is kind of neat, has this drawer. Now on the bigger one, it's a 2-compartment drawer. And the drawer, they say do not put ice in the drawer, but the drawer I think is for like burgers and dogs, maybe a veggie tray, cold cuts, that type of stuff. On this one, it's a single drawer, as you can see. And they do have a really, really nice locking handle. So you literally flip it up, flip it down, lid goes up, and we'll do the same thing on this side. And the lid goes up. So good size coolers. I've never used this. Jamie has used this once, Jamie? Right. And he said you could stack 2 beers on top of each other, and I suspect you could actually, this one appears to be deeper. We'll grab a tape measure and we'll measure them for you. So we're gonna do a beer count, or be the same, any cans. A can count to see how many cans we can get in, and we're gonna fill her with ice. So Jamie, like I said, used this one time, and one feature he said he really liked about it was the drain feature. So good sized drain plug on the side here, and Jamie's getting a shot with the other camera. Now you can probably see the lighter, you see my finger come through. There's a taper at the bottom that helps funnel the water out. So limited, I'm sure you may have to do a little bit of tipping or tilting, but limited tipping or tilting. So Jamie said he actually quite liked that feature itself. All right, grab the old trusty tape measure here. So we're gonna do inside measurements. To start, 22 inches by 12 and roughly 10 inches deep. Now I'll give you the overall measurement, and what I can tell you about these, empty, they're heavy. Now I have a Yeti about the size of this, maybe a little bit bigger, and I think it is in the 38 pound, roughly empty. I don't know, Jamie, do you know off the top of your head what this weighs? But it's pretty heavy. So with the handles, 33 inches by 15. So these drawers, 9 by 11 and about 3.5 inch deep. So we'll switch over to the smaller cooler here. You're looking at 13 wide, 11.5 deep, and about 9.5 on the depth. And the drawer is 11 by 10. So is that the same as this? No, this, I thought maybe the single was, so a little bit bigger than the single side here. And the closed width, 24 inches by 16. 20 inches high, 20 inches high. So they're pretty big. So let's see what they could do and how much capacity we could put in them. You'll also see, I'll use my little trusty pointer here. They talk here about a minimum of 25 pounds of ice. This one in the little book here talks about a minimum of 15 pounds of ice. So what we want to try to see is, can you put a bunch of beer in here and still get that much ice in? Well, we'll be back in a second with these filled up and show you. All right, so we're back. We got 32 beers in this one 20 beers in this one. Jamie, come on in here. I want you to have a look. So 32 beers, as you can see, Blue Mountains all the way across. We definitely want to give the cooler the best opportunity to be successful. You'll see here as well, although we're not going to put ice in the bottom, we did throw in, just for fun, a couple one in each drawer to see if it does stay cold. We'll see on that. And on this one, you'll see here we got 20 beers. Blue Mountains everywhere. And down here, one can in the drawer underneath. So now the fun part is going to be adding a bunch of ice. All right, so we got 25 pounds of ice here. Let's see how it does. So it did say minimum 25 pounds. So this enclosed area here, a covered area, does not get, now it is June, so it will get some afternoon sun. We're hoping that we're gonna leave them at the back part of the cabana here so that it's not sitting in the direct sun. If it is, it'll be for a short amount of time. Again, to give the cooler the best opportunity to perform, I guess. £20, gonna be close. And keeping in mind, this is Ninja's claim of minimum 25 pounds of ice. I don't think you'd be able to get any more than 25 pounds in here with a layer of drinks on the bottom, to be honest, because that is maxed. Now, I will preface this and say as well that if you're growing your own ice in your own freezer, you're gonna get better quality ice. This is just gas station ice. We all know is expensive and not the greatest, but this is a reality situation. You're on your way camping or to a party, you grab some ice, fill up your cooler. All right, 25 more pounds ice. Now, this one says minimum 15. So Jamie and I were just talking. It probably won't take more than 3 bags. We're gonna see. Ice is full. We bought a couple cheap thermometers that we rednecked it and just taped them inside. We want to try to see, we didn't want to just throw it in the ice, we want to try to see what type of temperature it's going to go to as far as the internal. I don't know how accurate that's going to be. It's just us trying. So you can see we did it on both sides. So that's part 1 of our video, in the sense that we've got everything set up now. It's still in the shade. It's 5:30 at night here, so we still probably have another 3 hours of daylight, so the sun will start to creep towards the west. So they may end up a little bit in the sun, but we're gonna give the coolers the best opportunity to perform the best. The other thing I wanted to mention as well, not realistic circumstances where normally you're opening your cooler, grabbing a drink, closing your cooler, opening it. These are gonna stay closed until tomorrow morning. I'm gonna come out here early in the morning, do a quick film, see how they look, come back out here tomorrow night, do the same thing. Not checked these since last night. Okay. There is our thermostat, and doesn't look like much movement on the ice. Let's check the other one. Same thing. Temp looks to be the same. All right, so, I mean, let's be honest here. These, I mean, I'm impressed. So far, looks all right, so I'm seeing some movement here, and I'm noticing water, but a huge crust of ice on the top. So that brings into question, and I asked that to you guys, do you drain the water or do you not drain the water? That is the question. So let's close that up. Let's have a look at this one. All right, so same thing. Probably an inch or so of ice on top, water underneath. I'm gonna leave it though. Got a bit of movement. We still have lots of ice though, and it is blazing hot. I think tomorrow the heat's supposed to snap. Cooler number 2. Well, the ice journey continues, and I'm committed to keep checking this until there's no more ice. All right, so it's starting to break down a bit, but let's be honest, looking pretty good. And this has been a crazy heat wave. So look at this one. Ooh, this one's now starting to struggle a bit in the ice department. All right, well, see you later on today. Let's have a look. If you remember this morning, okay. All right, so we still have ice here. There's our thermometer. It's still dropping down. I can see the mountains are still blue. So it got down to about 34 Celsius, or Fahrenheit, sorry. One thing I didn't check was, and I apologize to the camera work because I'm trying to do this on my own. Wow. So those cans are still blue. Thursday afternoon, day 4, no ice in there. The mountains are still blue on the course. So let's check the other one. Less ice. Looks like a spider there. I don't even know how that would have got in there. Cans are still blue. We'll stick our probe in. So definitely not as cold as the other one. Well, 4 or 5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer. And let's check this one. That can is also blue. Pretty amazing. Now, we did say that the bigger cooler had 2 more pounds ice in it. So that could be part of the reason. And these are not being open and closed, grabbing drinks. It's basically once in the morning, usually around 6:45, and once in the afternoon around 4:30 that I've been checking them. Well, day 5 tomorrow. We're down to a couple little shards of ice. Like, not much. But cans are still blue. I don't see any cubes there. But again, cans are blue. You can see a significant temperature change here too. All right, we are 120 hours. Yes, 120 hours, 5 full days, literally almost to the minute. It's about 5 p.m. here on our Ninja FROSTVAULT, right, Jamie? Ninja FROSTVAULT test. I've been coming out here twice a day, showing you how we're going. I think the journey is over. I have not checked this since this morning. There was a little tiny bit of ice in this one. There was basically no ice in this, but the mountains were still blue on the Coors Light, so I figured, well, let's wrap up the video later today. So here we are. So, got a probe. Let's have a look. Jamie, if you can come in a little tighter, please. All right, so our dial's still showing here about 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. Mountains, cold. Water, very cold actually. So the other day when I did this test, it was, I think it was about 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Or sorry, yeah, 34 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's 43 now. So a little bit of a difference. Let's have a look at this one. Mountain's still blue. What was the other one?
43.
And that's 49. Okay, and you can see here on this as well, I don't know if you zoomed in on both, bit of a difference. All right, so the other test that I didn't show every day, and Jamie and I were discussing it last night at golf, how wild this was. Look at this, Jamie. Still blue mountain on the tray or the drawer that has no ice in it or never had ice in it. And I suspect same thing here. So let's talk about this experiment. Something very unique, something very new for Jamie and I, not something we normally ever do because we do air fryers and blenders and toasters and stuff like that. But we wanted to try this, see what these coolers can do. So when we started the video 5 days ago, but probably 8 minutes ago on this video, we talked about the size, we measured them out. The price point, US $249 for the large one, $199 for the mid-size one. Now, Jamie and I were discussing before we were wrapping up this video this afternoon, I believe that these fall into the category of like luxury coolers. It's not everybody that's gonna go and spend that kind of money on a cooler. But when you look at other brands like Yeti and Chili Moose and some of these other companies that are making these luxury style coolers, they're actually less expensive quite a bit than some of these other companies. Now I have a very large Yeti. I think it's a, what did I say? It's a 65 quart. So let us know in the comments, is there any value in us doing a video comparing this large Ninja to the large Yeti I have? Virtually the same tests that we just did this week. Fill them with ice, fill them with beer, see which one does better. Let us know in the comments if you see value in that and if you want us to do that video. If you want us to do it, we'll do it. So the heat has finally dissipated. It's currently 22 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, much more comfortable temperatures. I'd be very curious, and maybe that's another test we should do or another video and dedicate another week. If we look at the forecast, that's not 35, 36 degrees, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. Today's Friday. If it was more like temperature like we're having right now, would we get 6 days? Would we get 7 days, 8 days out of the ice? I don't know. That said, is that realistic? Like, who's going away expecting or demanding of a cooler to get 7 days of ice out of it? I think that's unrealistic and unfair, but I was very impressed with how long these lasted. A couple of things I didn't like, or Jamie and I didn't like. I like the fact that, and I contradicted myself, I know, I like the fact that it has these big sturdy handles, but I don't like the fact that it makes the cooler that much bigger. So storage becomes a little bit more of an issue. The large Yeti I have, and I don't even know if they've still designed that way, has a big rubber handle, but they're on ropes and it hangs down low on the side of your Yeti so it doesn't take up that extra room. Now, that said, I'm even more impressed than the ice test. I was more impressed with the trays underneath, that it kept that beer and those mountains blue for 5 days and not being exposed to any ice whatsoever, just being underneath it. That's very cool. But if you're somebody who picnics and camps and that type of stuff, rather than having like a big basket, old school style way, going in the cooler, taking up cooler space, I mean, boom. That, you can get a lot of food in those two trays. So very, very impressive. Now, Jamie and I were talking. I don't know if that tray can completely be removed in the event there's a spill or a mess that gets made in there. That I'm not sure. So now it's time for the ultimate test. I mean, we got to test it, right, Jamie?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I should say, I'm a bit of a beer snob in the sense that I like beer very, very cold. I'm generally not a Coors Light drinker. The reason we chose that is because of the Blue Mountains, as you can see. That's the sole reason. We're not sponsored by Coors Light. We're not sponsored by Ninja, but let's give it a try. Very cold.
In the middle of the pack, we've got number 3, the Ninja Creami Deluxe.
So I'm going to do 4 tests for you today, which I'm limited on tests because the actual unit only comes with 2 pint jars, and we actually bought 2 additional ones so we could actually do more tests than just the 2. But I got 4 coming today. We got ice cream, we got a slushie, we have Italian ice, and a creamicino. First thing we're going to do is ice cream. So the way the creamies work, if you're not familiar, is that you, for example, Mark, if you get a shot of that. So this is the recipe you have to follow. So basically, you mix in a bunch of ingredients into the pint jars, whatever it may be, in this case, ice cream. Mix it all together, which I did a day or two ago. You have to let it freeze for 24 hours, and then that becomes your ice cream, and then the machine mixes it all up and turns it into ice cream rather than this block of ice that it is right now. So the way this works is you have, I don't even know what to call this, the
Reservoir?
outer canister, reservoir, whatever it is. That goes in like that. Now on the top, and I'll actually take this out, there's they call this a paddle, which is a strange word for it, but it's not really a blade, like it's not sharp. I guess there's a couple of little sharp spots, but it's not like super sharp. But they call that the paddle. That just installs in this lid. So there's the latch for the paddle. You just hold that open, drop it in, and that's it. So we're gonna put this on there. That locks into place like that. The unit clicks in there, but then to install it, you gotta turn it so it clicks in like that. Now, with the functionality, with the buttons, this is something different on the Deluxe where you can choose if it says top, full, or bottom. At first I thought that meant, do you want to mix the top? Do you want to mix the bottom? Or do you want to mix the full thing? But I've come to learn what it actually means is, if you have a full pint, then you can choose to just mix the top or the full. You would only use the bottom if you have eaten half of this, or you only made half a recipe, and you actually are just mixing the bottom. So you can't choose bottom if you have a full pint, if that makes any sense. In this case, we're gonna choose full, and we're on ice cream. Oh, it's a dial. Okay, I thought it was a button. So it's a dial, so we're going ice cream there. Oh, it tells you the minutes, interesting. So it's 2 minutes. And we'll talk about the mix in and the respin as we go. But for now, I assume maybe I hit this to start. Oh. I assume that took 2 minutes because it said there's a 2-minute timer. So to unlock it, there's a button way over here. You gotta hit this button, take it down, and then another button here to unlock the lid, like that. Oh. So this is usually what it looks like after the first program. And like I said, we're gonna talk about the mix-ins and the respins as we go. But basically, I'm gonna do mix-ins. I happen to have a bunch of chocolate chips here, which I'm about to mix in. And I'll show you how that goes. What the respin is if we were just doing ice cream and not doing mix-ins, because you can't use the respin button with mix-ins, but the respin button will basically make your ice cream creamier. That's the idea. So it'll mix it again and make it a little softer, a little creamier. In this case, for the mix-ins, ooh, it's like powder. So we'll make a little hole all the way to the bottom here. Because of our experience with previous Creamies, we know that their instructions are correct, where you just basically make a big hole down to the bottom if you can, and you put in your mix-ins. In this case, it calls for 1/3 cup of mix-ins. I think I have more than that, but so we got our hole there, Mark. It's not pretty, but it's a hole. So we're gonna pour as much of this that'll fit as we can. Oh, okay. Now it's as simple as putting the lid back on, lock her in, onto the unit, lock it in. Now, again, I'm gonna choose full. It says to put it, okay, full, back on the program that you use, so in this case, ice cream. And now we're gonna hit mix in. All right, so our 2 minutes are up again. So let's check out what we have. I keep forgetting this button's way over here. Unlock the lid. Oh. Okay, never had that problem before, but I mean, it looks fantastic, Mark, if you can get a shot of that.
Fantastic.
It looks fantastic. So, there may be, well, let me say a couple things. We're gonna have a special guest taste tester in a second here, but I do have to comment, Mark, as you may know, if you're a big fan of The Average Kitchen, it's a little soft. It's a little soft. His tummy doesn't like the lactose. So In this particular recipe, I replaced the whole milk with oat milk. I have lactose-free cream cheese and heavy cream, which apparently is lactose friendly for those who are lactose intolerant. So, if I may have my taste tester. Here he comes, triumphantly, please. Ooh, big scoop. Maybe too big. Okay, maybe not the best mix-in choice, but...
The overall taste of the ice cream.
Oh, okay. I think that assessment is accurate. I wouldn't do chocolate chips again, it's a little tough. Maybe if the machine broke them up into pieces, it would be better, but they're not broken up, they're still whole. But they're mixed in, I mean, it looks like a Dairy Queen Blizzard, if anybody knows what that is. It's totally mixed in. The flavor of the ice cream, fantastic, sweet. I put vanilla extract as the flavoring, so it's like vanilla ice cream. All right, so let me get this cleaned up. I gotta clean the outer bowl and the lid. And then next up is a slushie. All right, so we're all cleaned up, ready for the slushie. You'll see, I'll talk about this in a minute. But first wanted to show you, so this pint jar is from the Ninja Creami Breeze. Now this one is from this unit, the Ninja Creami Deluxe. So you can see, I'd have to look up the ounce difference, but you can see it's obviously larger. So if you're looking to make bigger pints of ice cream or pint plus ice creams, maybe the Deluxe is for you, but I'm gonna hold off comparing the Deluxe to the Breeze in this video because there might be something cooking for a little comparison, which when we shoot it will be linked in the description below. But just something to think about. So here we have slushie. Now, this is supposed to be a fruit punch slushie, and it includes fruit punch powder or drink crystals. I couldn't find fruit punch. I did find Tang, and I'm sure everybody out there knows Tang. So there's Tang powder and water in here. Now the difference with this, with the slushie, is that you have to pour water prior to mixing up to the what's called drinkable pour-in line, which Mark you can see there. So I'm gonna do that now. Oh, a little drip.
A little more.
All right, so with the water in there, put that, same as everything else, put it in the outer bowl, lay it on. Lock it in, so this time, again, we're gonna choose full, and we're gonna go over to slushie. Now, Mark, if you can see there, you have one side that says scoopable, and you have the other side that says drinkable. So in theory, I guess, this should be drinkable. We're about to find out. So you can see 5 minutes on the counter now, so this will be very interesting to see what happens. I assume it'll go up and down a couple times, but we're about to find out. All right, so 5 minutes is up. Let's see what we got. Oh, wow. I mean, it looks like a slushie, for sure. That's a slushie.
Is it pourable or no?
I would not say it's pourable. Well, there's two things going on here. One, the flavor, which is not the machine's fault, just okay for me. But, I mean, it's certainly slushy. There's no question about that. So I would call that a successful slushie. I wouldn't say it's drinkable. Like you can see, it's more like icy than drinkable, but very close to slushy texture. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is, like I said, Italian, well, I don't know if I said it, but Italian ice. It's gonna be lemonade flavor, but I just want to show you the book that came with the Creami. It's super high quality. All these recipes are out of the book. I might have tweaked it a little bit, like the last one, Tang instead of fruit punch, but you can see like there's the Italian ice lemonade. So I'm just following that.
Now that picture looks like ice cream.
It does. They say it's Italian ice. We're gonna find out. So there it is, Italian ice up to the line. We'll put the lid on, onto the unit. Now, again, we're gonna go full. We're gonna go over to Italian ice right there. 5 minutes again, which is interesting. And we're gonna start. All right, so we just finished the 5-minute cycle for the Italian ice. Now, I don't think I've ever had what you might call authentic Italian ice in my life. Maybe, not that I can remember. Mark, have you?
I have been to Italy 3 times, 4 times, and I've never had Italian ice.
Okay, well, this is our first crack at it then. I don't know if you call this authentic, but we'll see. And this is what we thought would happen. So you can see that the top, I don't know if you can kind of see that on camera, Mark, but pretty powdery, the Italian ice. So that's okay. Ninja's prepared for that. So what they say is that you put it back on, and this is the respin I mentioned earlier. So we're gonna put that back on, lock it in, full again. So now, what we do, put it back on Italian ice, on the program, or whatever program it is that you use in the first place. But I think it can only go on scoopable programs, not drinkable. This is a scoopable one. You put it back on the same program and you hit respin. I guess it takes another 5 minutes, but we'll see you at the end of that.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes is up. Now, I did just try the little bit that was on my spoon off camera there, and she's tart. Now it's lemonade drink mix, and I was just telling Mark that it called for half a cup of this powder, drink powder, and I bought like a package of it, and it wasn't even a half cup. It was like still a little bit left. So I'm surprised at how strong this flavor is, but so it's a little, I don't know, that's still a little powdery. Mark, can I get a?
Yeah, it's powdery. Take a good sized scoop though, Jamie.
But should we respin it again is the question, or are we going with the powder?
That's up to you.
Oh, look at this little scoop. Well, it's not for everybody, as it turns out.
I'll try it.
Oh,
That's brutal.
Molto bene. I mean, you gotta love lemon.
You gotta love lemon. So, again, I'm not an Italian ice expert by any means. It gets a little thicker as you go, but it's certainly powdery. I'm gonna say, even if I respun it again, I don't even know Italian ice, but it spun it. I think we're gonna skip the respin. So all this is literally water and that flavored powder that I talked about. There's no other ingredients. So I guess this is what you get. And I don't even know what the machine does differently between the different programs other than the time. I mean, it spins the paddle all the way down and all the way up, however long the program is set for. But that's one respin, still a bit powdery. It is better than the first time, so the more you respin it, the less powdery and the more creamy it's gonna get. And we know that from experience, so I'm confident that would happen here. But for now, let's move on to the last thing. All right, so the next thing we're gonna jump into, like I said at the beginning, a word I've never said or heard before, Creamicino. So it's gonna be the Creamicino program. Now what I've chosen, there's a bunch of different ones. For example, frozen Irish coffee, frozen chai latte, Creamicino itself. I chose frozen hot chocolate because I'm a hot chocolate kind of guy. So with this one, see there, Mark, so you can see that there's less in this pint than the last one. That's because much like the Slushi, we have to add up to the drinkable fill line some milk. So we're gonna use almond milk because again, Mark's a little touchy in the tummy.
Soft.
Soft, some say. So that goes into our outer bowl as always.
This looks like it could be pretty good.
I have high hopes for this. I think it's gonna taste good. So in terms of ingredients, there is a half cup of hot chocolate, Tim Hortons hot chocolate powder mix for you Canadians out there, or Northern Americans. And we have a cup and 3/4 of, what did I say, oat milk or cashew milk? I can't remember which. Cashew maybe, or oat. Anyway, the good thing about these recipes in particular, actually, I should mention, I did mention the lines here. So the way it worked, I didn't actually have to measure the milk because once the powder is in, the liquid goes all the way up to the freeze fill line. So it's already marked out for you, so you don't even have to measure it. You just pour the milk in to that line. And then the second step, which I just did obviously, is fill it all the way up to the drinkable line. So pretty simple that way. So lid on we go, lock it in. Go on here, full again. And we're gonna go over to, where am I? Creamicino. 5 minutes again, and we'll start that. All right, so the 5 minutes is up, so let's check out our frozen hot chocolate. Now, it did say that if it's not to your desired, if it's not to your desired, sippability, you can add some more milk and respin it, which we may do, but this is very interesting.
Wow.
That is very interesting. I'm gonna give it a respin. I don't think you can drink that, so I'm gonna give it a respin.
Who wants to drink that when you can eat it?
But we're gonna eat it. It's not blowing my socks off like I expected, but I mean, especially considering the Italian ice we just tried, it's fantastic. So I'm gonna add a little bit more milk. It says 2 to 4 tablespoons, so we'll just sort of eyeball that. And then lid back on. Lock it in. So we're full, we're at Creamicino, and we're going to respin. 2 minutes. So the 2 minutes is up. It's something point Mark brought up, which I forgot to mention earlier, and it would probably mostly apply to the ice cream or at least any of these scoopable things, is that, oh boy, that looks good, is that if you happen to not eat your whole pint, because it's a pretty big pint jar, as we talked about, all you have to do to save it is use a spoon and just flatten out whatever's left. You can throw it back in the freezer, and then the next day, the next week, whatever, you can take it out again. All you have to do is put it back on the machine to the same program that it is. So say ice cream, put it on ice cream and hit respin, and then you're back in the game. So it's good that way. It has the lids, like you saw earlier. You can just store it like that, so pretty handy. Anyway, back to the frozen hot chocolate though. I don't know how you can drink that. I agree. It's more of a scoopable at this point. So you can see I even went to the trouble of bringing out the Tim Hortons mugs, the Canadian mugs. So instead of drinking the frozen hot chocolate, we're just gonna eat it because it's not very sippable at this point. What do you think?
Definitely tastes like hot chocolate.
Tastes like frozen hot chocolate. Mark, please.
Yep, thank you. Reminds me of a fudgicle.
That is a good comparison. I think,
Thank you.
now that you say that, like a very thin, almost melted fudgicle, but the same flavor. Making a mess. This is what you're licking up all over your hand as it's pouring everywhere. So, let me get this all cleaned up, and I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on the Ninja Creami Deluxe. So a couple things I wanted to mention just to, for interest's sake here, is first the size. So I want to give you an idea of how big it is. So height, it's about 6 3/4 inches tall. It's about a foot deep and about 6 3/4 inches wide. So really the issue size-wise is the height. So if you have under cabinet lighting like Mark has, you might have a problem keeping it on your countertop and under that lighting. But some people might store it too, so that's subjective, it's up to you. The weight, I don't know what it weighs, I'd say 5, 6, 7 pounds, maybe something like that. It's not heavy, but it's not like a super light product either. I'm sure there's a big motor in there that's powering all this. Cleaning wise, it's very easy to clean. Like all this stuff, the pints, the lids, the little paddle, the blade there, all that can go in the dishwasher. I just go top rack with it all just to be safe so it doesn't get too hot, particularly with the lids and the pint. You don't want anything funky going on with that, but super easy to clean that way. On our channel, you probably know, because everybody's a big fan, of course, watching this, that we have an average kitchen scoring system where we have 6 different categories. We rank it out of 10 to let you know, kind of quantify what we think about the product. So price point. We paid $249.99 for this US dollars, which in Canada is like 700 or 800, I think, with the exchange rate. So we thought that is slightly high. Now it is the sort of premium creamy. There's 3 different ones. It's the Creami Deluxe, so it's kind of the premium one. And we think the Creami products in general are premium products. So we gave the price point a 7.6 out of 10. Functionality, we thought it functions really well. The buttons, and by the way, all the functions that are on there, we got ice cream, light ice cream, sorbet, gelato, frozen yogurt, Italian ice, milkshake, slushy, frozen drink, and creamicino. So that's 10 functions that this thing does. In terms of pushing the buttons, like the buttons are easy to push. Everything's pretty straightforward. My only, I guess, complaint, functionally wise, is that, now this is, I know, a small complaint, but the fact that you have to do this versus the Creami Breeze, you can check out the video for that below. You literally take your pint, you plug it in, bang, and away you go. So it's like a couple extra steps. By no means is that a deal breaker, but there's something to keep in mind. Functionality, we gave an 8.2. Versatility, I kind of touched on this already, so I'm not going to go on about it, but all the different things you can do with this machine, all those 10 things that I mentioned, that's pretty versatile, certainly the most versatile Creami. So we're giving that an 8.9 out of 10. Cleaning, I talked about that already. We're giving that an 8.6 out of 10, very easy to clean. The size, talked about the size already, we gave that an 8.2, slightly lower, like I said, just given the height of it, and maybe it's a challenge keeping it on your countertop. Overall quality, we said, or we thought it's a typical high quality Ninja product. We're giving that an 8.8 out of 10. We really have no complaints about the quality, so maybe it even should have been higher, but we gave it an 8.8. Overall, that gives it an 8.4 out of 10. Definitely on the higher side, sort of maybe the higher third of scores that we give out. If you watch this channel, you'd know that. So 8.4, pretty good score for this product.
Runner-up taking the number 2 spot, Ninja Speedi versus Ninja Combi.
Mark, Jamie, Speedi, Combi, which should I choose? Well, the Speedi's been out a little bit longer, and I can tell you that Jamie uses this in his kitchen 3-4 days a week. He's got a lot of miles on this, I think it's fair to say. The Combi we reviewed, that video came out a couple months back. Very, very well watched. It's a really, really nice product. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna do chicken parm with pasta. Now I say pasta, you may say pasta. I did get a chirp at the one point when somebody's like, I don't like the way you say it. Sorry, that's how we say it here. That's how I say it. So chicken parm with pasta and a marinara sauce on the bottom racks, as we're gonna show you the bottom trays, and we're gonna see how they do head to head. So the island is full of stuff here, so I apologize if I'm fumbling over stuff. But we're gonna start getting our stuff ready. So as you can see, if you have not watched the Ninja Speedi video, sorry, Combi video, 2 trays, 1 up top, 1 down below. So on the bottom side here, we're gonna put in half of our pasta, which, what did we say that was? How many ounces, Jamie? The bag here is 500 grams, so we're gonna do roughly 250 per, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. 8 ounces. Half the bag. I'll put that in here so you can see it. Calls for 2 cups, this recipe for the Combi, 2 cups of marinara, 1.5 cups chicken broth. So we're gonna put in our marinara, and then we're gonna measure off. Got chicken broth, just a pre-made box that you can buy here in Canada. Or what did I say, 1.5 cups, right, Jamie? Correct. I'm gonna pour that in, and then we're gonna give it a good stir. Make sure everything's evenly coated. Now, it may not look awesome right now, obviously, but I can tell you, pretty excited about this dish. I'm gonna slide that in on the bottom. And then, on the Ninja Speedi side, a little bit different. Top tray, and then has this deeper pan. So, again, we're gonna pour in all of our pasta. 3 cups of marinara, and then 1.5 cups of the chicken broth itself. Definitely a lot more liquid, would you agree, Jamie, in the Speedi reservoir here?
Definitely.
Now, for the fun part. Our tray sits on top. Now, the big difference between the Speedi and the Combi is the Speedi, any kind of drippings will drip down inside of your pasta or rice or whatever you're cooking. In the Combi, it does not. So we've got 2 decent sized chicken breasts that were dredged in flour, egg wash, and panko breadcrumbs with a little bit of seasoning of just salt and pepper. Nothing too crazy. All right, so we're gonna throw our tray in. Oops, sideways, sorry. All right, so on the Ninja Speedi, we're gonna go Combi, thank you, Jamie. We're gonna go Combi. You can see here, or maybe Jamie can zoom in, it says Combi meals, $3.90. And then we're gonna do our time, we're gonna do 18 minutes. I'm gonna hit start. And then the old trusty Speedi here. We're gonna go rapid Speedi meals on rapid cook.
375.
375. Or maybe, should we do 375 on this too?
This said 390.
Does say 390, okay. 375. Time?
15.
15. All right, so they're both preheating. Yes, there's maybe about a 30-second delay between the two. I don't know how it could do chicken in 15 minutes. I'm always leery when it comes to chicken. We are definitely gonna probe it and make sure the internal temperature is safe and give you an idea of how they cook. So, Jamie and I are not affiliated to any company per se. We are not affiliated to Ninja or any of these companies. We do have an Amazon affiliation link, so the links for Canada, US, and the UK will be in the description of the video for these products where you can quickly link and show how much they cost where you live. We buy these products on our own, we shoot our own videos, we give you an honest, independent, unbiased opinion on everything that we review. All right, so we're back. Roughly 5 minutes left on both cooks. Wow. We keep joking because we say that this is Jamie's guy. I've been a big fan of the Combi. So Rayo sauce, if you've never had it, we get it at Costco. It's friggin' awesome. Ooh, that would have been embarrassing if I couldn't have opened that. So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna have to step around this, we're just gonna give a little drizzle of sauce and some mozzarella cheese. So the one downside that I see with the Speedi is that if you wanted to stir your pasta, which Jamie says you don't have to, but if you wanted to, virtually impossible to remove that tray with 2 large chicken breasts on it without making a catastrophic mess. Speaking of mess, that residual cheese will make one. Now, my guy, let's see how the chicken looks. I hope it looks comparable to Jamie's, but I don't know yet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at my guy here, Jamie. Maybe even nicer than Jamie's guy. All right, so a little bit of marinara. Cool, just listen to that crisp. Crisp. Then some cheese, which will be a massive pain to clean afterwards, no doubt. Now, just probably out of spite, I may just pull out my pasta and give it a stir. Just because I can. Not because I need to. Not because that tells me to. Ooh, nice looking. Now, I'd like to say, let's have a look at Jamie's, but we really can't. I mean, Jamie, Jamie and I were just talking off camera. If I'm totally honest, so I have 2 kids. They've been in several videos. They love chicken parm. I don't know why I haven't done this in this Combi yet for them. I don't really know why I haven't, but I haven't. But this is telling me, Mark, you gotta. All right, so these look, I'm not gonna lie, these look unbelievable. They look amazing. So I'm gonna pull shoot. This had a bit of a range of a couple minutes. This was pretty specific for the amount of time, but a minute and a half left. I'm gonna pull shoot on this one. Just over a minute left on this. I think we're gonna shut this one down as well. Jamie, can you give me a little look-see on that there, please? I mean, it looks unbelievable. Let's pull out, now I'm already dreading cleaning up this cheese off of this tray, dreading it, but it's the average kitchen, and that's just what happens here sometimes. All right, so let's give these a quick probe, just to have an idea. We're looking at, we'll look to my trusty 165, so we got 180 on that one, 170 4 on that one. All right, so the Speedi probe, 170 and 180. So definitely cooked pretty much, I think I would say almost the same, right, Jamie? Yep. So now, as mentioned before with the Speedi, there's very little to grab onto, like a little tiny tab here, as you can see. So I'm just gonna move that out of the road. Now, have a look at this, Jamie. Can you zoom in here? The advantage of the Speedi. The residual cheese dripped down on top of the pasta. I mean, look at that. That looks unreal. It's unbelievable. All right, so I think we can agree that that looks amazing. Jamie, would you agree?
I would agree.
All right, so let's grab the oven mitt, pull out our tray here. So a little bit of lacking sauce, and I'm a sauce guy, but this had an extra cup of sauce. I'm not sure why that was the recipe, but anyway, it was. But definitely plenty of sauce here. I mean, let's be honest. Let me kind of get organized here and give this a second to cool because it's like molten lava, and let's try it. All right, while we're continuing to wait for this to cool, let's talk about a couple things. The preheat on the Speedi was 9 minutes, roughly, and we're kind of rounding a little bit. And the preheat on the Combi was 5.5 minutes? 5:45. Jamie, we're throwing those 15 seconds there. 5.5, 5:45. So, a little bit of a difference in the preheat. However, the Combi, or the Speedi recipe called for less cook time and actually had a little bit of a lower temperature than the Combi did. So really, at the end of the day, if I'm being honest, they basically finished cooking at the exact same time. This one at 375, this one at 390. I think the only measurable difference you can see here is this, you can see a little bit of more of a crispy char, I guess, to the panko on this than this side. Both equally crispy. Of course, when you add marinara and you add cheese, you're gonna lose some of the crunch on your chicken parm. So if you prefer it to be crunchy all the way through, then don't add the those ingredients, or the ingredients to your chicken. So let's just throw a little bit of pepper on our pasta here. So let's try this one. Okay, so for me, that one's cooked perfect. Still firm, but not too firm. I gotta get Jamie a fork here. I'm gonna say, Jamie, please be honest. I'm gonna say they are cooked the exact same. Now, do you prefer it a little bit more al dente?
Slightly more.
Slightly, okay. Do you see a difference between the two?
It's very close, for sure.
Like almost immeasurable.
Yeah.
All right.
Very close.
So let's try a piece of chicken now. I'll give you a little cutaway here. Very, very, very nice. Very, very good. I mean, do you lose some of the crunch on your panko because we threw marinara on it? Absolutely. Really nice. I would say the panko looks better on this one. I mean, it's very good. Jamie, can you try, there's a couple pieces of chicken there.
I would say the Combi is crunchier, Speedi is a little juicier.
Okay. So I would say very hard to measure any difference between the two.
Very close.
Very, very close. So we're gonna run through a few stats here. I wanna measure a couple things and talk to you about price point, a few things like that. Give me a second to kind of get organized here and we'll be right back. All right, so let's talk about these two products. I wanna give you some measurements so that you can make an educated decision based on what you think would be best for your own family. So I am a family of 4, 2 boys who are growing, eating a lot. So I don't think that the Speedi would be sufficient enough, not necessarily on the pasta side, but I don't know, and maybe we could have tried that. I don't think you'd get 4 decent sized chicken breasts on this. Maybe you would. Jamie, have you ever done 4 on this? Okay, Jamie's saying you could. Okay, it'd be tighter fit. So the overall measurement on this, and we're gonna give it to you in inches, just over 8 inches by 8 inches. So not huge. The reservoir itself, which you can do pasta and rice and so on and so forth, is just over 10 inches by 10 inches, but it's quite deep. It's about 5 inches deep. So you can get a lot in that. Let's talk about the Combi here. So good size tray, and I must say as well, it's hard for you to see this on camera. It's very, very heavy duty, but you're looking at just under 12 inches by 12 inches. And the pot tray itself, 10 by 12, but nowhere near as deep. You're looking at 2 inches deep. So there are some differences between the two. I mean, as we mentioned and we sort of joked about, and Jamie talked about, there is no need to have to stir the bottom side of whatever you're cooking in this, but it is nice to be able to do that. And I think where Ninja may have erred is this little tiny lip, and I don't even know if you could see it. It's maybe only raised by 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, is a very, very small thing to have to try to grab to lift. And likely that's because you don't have to stir what's underneath. All right, so let's talk about price point. We just took a quick look on Ninja USA. We're just shooting this video sort of at the backside of Black Friday and the craziness that brings. It's early December here, as you can see by my wife's new Christmas garland that she's very excited about above my head. So right now they are both on sale, but the regular price, $199 for the Ninja Speedi and $229 for the Combi. So $30 US difference between the two. So that may be a factor for you as well. The other thing to mention as well is you definitely would be struggling to use this on a countertop where you don't have a lot of depth if you have overhead counters, because you need, in order to open that door, you need 20 inches of clearance to open up that lid. Whereas the Combi, because it's front loading as you saw during the video, is 13 inches high. So another factor that may change things for you, small window, no window on this. Cleaning. Now, as I mentioned, Jamie's done a lot of use on this. Jamie recently did a bit of a deeper clean on the element aspect, and Jamie, maybe do you have a comment on that, or?
It's just very difficult, if not possible, to get under the element, get to the fan.
Okay, and I'm sure if Jamie was an engineer, he would be able to remove the different screws and maybe have to move some electrical, I'm not sure. Now, if I'm being totally honest, which he would never do. If it was up to Jamie, this whole thing would go in the dishwasher. And maybe we should mention that as well. Jamie, these two parts can go in the dishwasher, same with these two parts as well. Now, the Ninja Combi, as you could probably see if I pull these out, is very clean, and full disclosure, it's because it just hasn't been used a whole lot. The advantage of the average kitchen, because we buy so many products, I think we reviewed, I don't know, 25 or 30 air fryer kind of cookers, whatever. You get sort of the pick of the litter as to what you're gonna keep and what you're not gonna keep. And I really like this. We reviewed it about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. I just haven't used it. So that's why it still looks so clean. All right, so ultimately, what would we choose? As I mentioned, I have a family of 4. I don't know, maybe it would be suitable. Jamie's a family of 2, which may be changing in the near future to a family of 3. But right now, Jamie said this is a perfect size for him and his wife. And they actually have pots and pans drawers that they can put it in a drawer and slide it away. Jamie's got strict rules at home, nothing on the countertop. For me, I'd probably go with the Combi just because of the size and the volume that you can cook in it, with a little bit of a bigger surface area, especially on the upper portion for your proteins.
And finally, our #1 review for 2024. We've got the Ninja Air Fryer Pro XL.
5 pounds of fries, but it also claims it could do 9 pounds of wings. So off camera, we weighed out 9 pounds of wings. They're in the fridge. Jamie took a picture of the scale, so you know we're legit. Got this monster bag of frozen fries. We're gonna weigh out 5 pounds. That is a lot of fries. Is it gonna fit inside this basket? Ninja claims it will. Let's find out. So I preheated this. So basket, decent size. 5 pounds fries, decent? I don't know. I don't know, Jamie. I just don't know.
Not looking good so far.
I mean, we're almost into the full zone here. I'm having flashbacks to doing the other video that said it could do 4 pounds. It didn't. I think that's it. Jamie, can you try that for me, please? And hold on, one more fry. Will it go in? I think it will. Push. All right, so, I mean, we could weigh this, but this may be a pound. Let's call it half a pound on the side of caution for Ninja, so it did 4.5 pounds maybe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set a timer and see how long these take. I'm gonna guess they're probably gonna be in the 25 to 30 minute range. Every 10 minutes we're gonna come back and check them out. So it's been 10, 11 minutes. We just added some time on there, but Jamie had it on his watch. So there's no way, I mean, that is freaking heavy. There's no way that you can shake these around. So the downside is using tongs, although it's not going too bad, is tearing the fries or ripping the fries. But I'm gonna be as gentle as I can here, but they're still, I mean, they're barely thawed. So we're at 25 minutes, let's have another look. All right, so now they're starting to look crispy. Ooh, glass is fogged up. But they're like a big, giant potato cake, as you can see here. So I'm trying to flip these over. And obviously some are breaking, but that's fine. So the challenge when you're doing this amount of fries, and I don't know how many people would ever cook 5 pounds, or no, what did we say? We ended up with 4.5 pounds of fries. As you can see here, there's a bunch that are broken. I don't know how you would ever avoid that, is trying to get that full turnaround to get the bottom up at the top and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna say, what do you think, Jamie? Another 7 minutes? All right, let's have a look at our fries. All right, so as you can see, pretty crispy on top. They're quite clumped together, and there's really no way with this volume of fries. So as you can see, yeah, just nailed it right on the plate there, like perfect. That is a ton of fries. And just looking at the ones that would have been stuck on the bottom, are they as crispy as they should be, or what I would like? No, but again, that is a boatload of fries. Inconsistent is probably the best way. Like I look at some of these, not gonna say they're raw, but they're not in the realm of crispiness that we would like. So the next challenge, if you will, for the lack of better terms, the next challenge is literally 9 pounds of wings, which we did measure out, as I think I previously mentioned. We measured out pre-video. Jamie took a photo that will be plugged into the video for transparency. I mean, the brother product of this, we did 5 pounds of wings, right, Jamie?
Yes.
And I won't ruin the video because, of course, we want you to watch it, but we'll say it went pretty well. This is, I mean, this is a lot of chicken wings. And I suppose if you're having like a get together, or it's like a Super Bowl thing, or like, you know, college sports is huge in the States, so you're having like a day where you're having a bunch of people over and you're feeding a bunch of people, you would do this amount of chicken wings maybe, but I mean 9 pounds? 9 pounds of wings, that's a lot. But here we are, they fit. I'm not looking forward to trying to toss these or turn them. Virtually gonna be impossible, but let's see. Holy jeez. It's a weird angle. Okay. Air fry. I'm gonna set it for probably, what, 50 minutes, Jamie? But we're gonna, again, come back and check in every 12 to 15 minutes. All right, so it's been 15 minutes. Let's just pop these out and have a look. All right, so top ones, obviously. Oh, this is gonna be challenging. Again, much like the fries, like look at that. We already have a casualty here. Like it's great that it boasts that it can do this amount of wings, but it's just not practical to try to be fighting with these. Like, look, do you see this, Jamie? Yeah. Like it's raw, right? And then that one's got char on the outside. So I did dust them with a little Kinder's garlic, but I feel that this is gonna be a lot of work to stay on top of this nonstop to, I'm trying to bury the ones that are already somewhat crispy and pull out the raw ones. All right, so far a little annoyed, to be honest. All right, so it's been 42 minutes. I'm a little rattled here. I'm quite pessimistic. about this situation, because when you pull them out like this, oh, they look good. And then you start turning them and like, oh, they're like raw on the bottom, but I guess we're getting closer and closer. The other problem is there's no wiggle room here. Like, that's still raw chicken, and we're 41 minutes into the cook. If you could kind of maybe even get closer here, Jamie, and try to see, like, look at this. It's raw, right? So how do you get all of those raw ones up to the top and try to get somewhat of a consistent cook here? We're 41 minutes into the cook, 9 pounds of wings. That is ridiculous, but we wanted to challenge ourselves or challenge Ninja, and Ninja's saying, hey, this air fryer can cook 9 pounds of wings at once. So we're like, we got to try that. Well, it's going to take probably an hour and 20 minutes, we'll see, to get them all done. So rattled here, rattled. All right, we're an hour and 15 minutes in here. 75 minutes, I'm calling it. I'm out. Can't do it anymore. Probably 5 or 6 times, Jamie, would you say that's accurate? 5 or 6 times that I've tried to stir up these wings or whatever. So I'm predicting, and I haven't looked, and I turned off. I'm predicting when I take this out, the top layer is going to be brown and crispy, and that'll be about it. All right, look, oh, you're like, oh, wow. Wow, these wings look great. Well, they do on the top, but let's see. Now, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure as the further south we go here, we're gonna get less and less cooked. Even though what I did the last time off camera was I created a little pocket and I was trying to pull out all the ones that were not crispy to the top. So let's have a look. I mean, maybe I was successful here. So far we're looking at crispy. Okay, now we're getting less and less crispy here. Hold on. Keeping in mind this is 9 pounds of wings. Also keeping in mind, this is Ninja's claim that you can do 9 pounds. Why you wouldn't just do 2 batches of 4.5 pounds? Well, the simple answer is we wanted to see. Ninja says you can do 9 pounds. I'm finding some of the ones I tried to bury here. So can you see this, Jamie? Do you see this area here? Like, to me, those kind of look like slimy wings, right? I'm sure they're cooked. There are some crispy wings, and there's some, and I'm trying to separate them here to show you the inconsistency. And maybe I needed to stand here for another 20 minutes and try to, you know, continue to turn these over. But what I said to Jamie, the only way that really I could have done this successfully would have been to empty out the whole 9 pounds into some sort of, you know, tray or basket or whatever, put all the crispy ones like this on the bottom, and put all the non-cooked crispy ones on the top, which I guess I could have done, but doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? All right, so we're back here. I wanted to try to, as Jamie called it, a stark contrast to show you the difference between, now these wings are cooked and edible or whatever, and I'm sure they're good, but and maybe some of these are overdone, but you can see, and this is with 5 or 6 attempts with tongs to continue to turn over this 9 pounds over this hour and 15 minutes, which, I mean, hey, I'm not complaining, but it is a lot of work to do. And even with those best efforts, we still ended up with this considerable inconsistency. So let's dump out and see what we have for grease here, which looks like quite a bit. All right, so let's talk about this product. $169 US, so roughly $210 Canadian. It was purchased maybe a month ago, so the price may have come down a little bit. Reasonable price. Size 9 by 9, and the height is just 5.5 inches. So the only real difference between this and the other model that we reviewed earlier today, check out that link to that video, is the other one was the exact same size, right, Jamie? 9 by 9. But was 4 inches versus 5.5 inches. So for $50 US more, you have 1.5 inches on your height, which I don't even look at as a major advantage here. I almost look at it as a disadvantage because you're tempted to try to cook more, and we can see how challenging that is, we'll call it. All right, so this unit, dishwasher safe, as well as the crisper tray, although they say to extend the life of your product to hand wash it, which Jamie does not like the sound of that. The intention of this video was not our typical, which we normally do, full comprehensive review run it through a bunch of series of tests. We aren't gonna do that video. The purpose of this video was to see what's advertised on the box that Ninja put. Can it do 5 pounds of fries and 9 pounds of wings? And the answer is no, it can't. Fries, we had to take out half a pound, maybe even a pound of fries to do them. Again, they were cooked very, very inconsistently. The wings, I'm sure if you did half and half, 4.5 pounds each time, I bet you they would have cooked great. Doing 9 pounds all at once, hour and 15 minutes where you had to shut it down. Again, are these edible? Would you serve these to your friends? Maybe, but I would like something a little bit less done than this, but definitely more done than that. That's our video. We hope you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.